Hello guys, Willem Petzer here, and today we are talking about the most significant news story to come out in 2019 on South Africa. Yesterday on the 20th of January, the Rapport newspaper reported that the state witness at the Coligny murder case admitted to his pastor that he lied about the whole thing. Now for those of you who do not know what this is about, it is about two men, Pieter Doorewaard and Schutte, who were convicted to murder on the flimsy statement of one single witness, which we now know is a lie, according to the report. Now this whole case stinks to high heaven. Firstly, because if you look at the actual facts in retrospect, you will see that it was extremely likely that the witness has lied to the judge. And the judge, Mr. Ronald Hendricks, made some extremely dodging decisions on the statement. But we'll discuss that in the video. Secondly, because this is probably the most political case ever in South Africa. In this country, there are a lot of people who speak out against the racial killings of farm murders and really wants it to stop. One of the main arguments of the people opposed to these activists are that farmers or farm workers, white farm workers, also kill blacks. The only problem with this statement is that it has never ever happened and proven in court that a white farmer or white farm murder has ever done that. Now this case was the holy grail to the people saying that, because this once and for all proved that there is a case in which a white farm worker murdered a black. What a shame to these people that it came out that the only evidence the state ever had to prove this is based on complete lies. To all of our new viewers, before we get into the meat of this video, my name is Willem Petzer, and on this channel we analyze South African news in order to try and bring balance to the obviously biased mainstream media in South Africa. So we would love you on this channel, so click that subscribe and bell icon to subscribe. Let's look at the facts that were given in the court case and how the judge responded to them. Firstly, the witness flip-flopped on a statement full of contradictions, and this was even admitted by the Judge Hendricks, while the accused had a solid statement. Secondly, there was no evidence of even the most outrageous claims by the witness, which the judge took at face value. We saw no innocence until proven guilty here. The statement that was already full of contradictions were just taken by the judge at face value, and even when the witness accused the defendants of kidnapping him and threatening him with a gun, the judge also believed this, and he dismissed the claims of the defendants that the witness was nowhere near the scene when any of this happened. Now, of course, we know that the witness admitted that the two men spoke the truth. And thirdly, the police did not want to take the witness's statement in the first place because A, he was drunk, and B, he was well known by the police to regularly lie and give false statements to the police. Now let's go over the facts one more time. So firstly, the witness provided a statement full of contradictions, and even the judge said yes, he did. Secondly, he provided no evidence of any of these claims or any evidence that he was ever kidnapped or threatened by these people. The judge took this at face value, even though the statement was full of contradictions, and he even sentenced them and found them guilty of this kidnapping, of this alleged kidnapping rather. And thirdly, the police knew this witness, Mr. Bonakele Pakisi, and they knew him to already give false statements to them regularly, on a regular basis, lying to them all the time, so they didn't even want to take his statement because of his history. And of course, he was drunk when he gave the statement. Even with all of these in the face of Judge Hendricks, he still believed the witness and dismissed the claims of the defendants that this witness was nowhere near the scene in the court case. Now we know that the witness has admitted to his pastor on a recorded voice note that he was nowhere near the scene. He made all of this up, all of it is lies. This should bring the judge and his obviously politically made decision into serious question. Now I know AfriForum has jumped onto this case immediately, offering to defend Mr. Pieter Doorewaard and Mr. Schutte because they were obviously wronged. Now these actions by AfriForum did not bring in the wanted reaction from social media. Some very valid questions were raised. Why, even though the facts made it significantly likely that these two men were innocent, did AfriForum not take this case on from the start. Now suddenly, when it is proven beyond any doubt that these people are innocent, AfriForum suddenly wants to take this case on. Doesn't AfriForum think that this looks like they are after the advertisement and the public relations a lot more by taking on this case? Some people even asked why AfriForum were the first to take on the case of an alleged Rwandan national who was murdered in South Africa. But the very people they claim to represent as their core constituency and their core contributors to their organization, they are too afraid to defend them from the start. But when this case gets blown into the media, into the public, now suddenly they want to jump onto it. I think these questions are very valid and we really must ask them to AfriForum and they need to answer them to us. Another such case is when two men were sentenced to more than a decade jail time each for basically pulling a schoolboy prank on a thief they caught on their farm. Luckily, I know that another new and up-and-coming civil rights organization called Toekomsfonk that was started by Steve Hofmeyer has taken on that case and their legal team is fighting the appeal battle for these two men. But of course, I'll do a whole video on that very soon. It is a sad day to know that the politics of racialism and identity politics in this country has reached a level where an individual was willing to destroy the lives of two innocent men and even achieved it as they were already convicted as the murderers with a bunch of complete lies, and it seems it is just because they were white men working on farms. This is what the whole case looks like. It might not be, but this certainly is what it looks like. It is a sad day for South Africa, where two men's lives are completely disregarded to, as it seems, drive an obvious political agenda. The witness, who now on voice recording admitted that he made the whole story up and lied about everything, really needs to get some serious steps taken against him. And the judge who made all these very dodgy decisions, why did he make them? These are the questions we need to start asking in the public. Why did he take a statement at face value from a drunk guy who was known by the police to many times give false statements and lie to them, even though the statement was full of contradictions and even though there was no evidence, on this frail little statement by a witness? How on earth did this judge decide this was enough evidence to prove that these two men are guilty of murder? We now know that Pieter Doorewaard and Philip Schutte are two white men being slaughtered on the altar of identity politics in South Africa by an individual who is so hateful that he was willing to lie under oath just to see two men suffer because they are white men who work on farms. I would suggest that every single South African patriot, doesn't matter what tribe you belong to, what color your skin is, or what language you speak, to be at the court when these two men are being sentenced after they have already been convicted of murder on one flimsy little statement by an individual who was willing to lie in court in order to see these poor men suffer. We are reaching previously unknown levels of ridiculousness in our legal system if this is the precedent that's being set by judges at the high courts in this country. And it saddens me that two people's lives were almost completely destroyed by this. It's time we start talking about this. It's time we start asking these questions in the public, and it's time we say enough is enough of this identity politics and racialism destroying this country even further. Please remember to leave a comment and a like to get the ratings on this video up and to share it with all of your friends and family to make it spread as far as possible. Thank you for watching, goodbye, and God bless.